Let's go straight to Liberal MP Garth Hamilton now. Garth, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining me. Obviously, net zero, huge week. Was this just a compromise to keep everyone in the party happy? Because you're dumping net zero 2050, but you're staying in the Paris Agreement. How does that make sense?
Well, Danica, I'm happy to report I didn't make much of a compromise. I got everything I wanted, which was the full and complete dumping of net zero. And that was the target for me. Look, the thing with Paris, it doesn't have any implication on domestic policies. Whilst it might not be my favourite thing in the world, it can't control what's happening within Australia. So I don't share those concerns. We held the Paris Agreement for 5 years before we signed up to net zero. We were just fine then. I'm sure we'll be just fine on the other side too.
Are the moderates going to be a hindrance to this policy moving forward? I mean, some have even claimed today that they don't know whether they can sell this compromised policy.
Look, I'm sure they'll find a way, and I'm sure we'll join together as a team. Now we've got through this very difficult conversation and found the right answer on the other side. I would point out to the moderates that for 4 years, I was in that compromised position. I was against net zero, whilst the party's position was for it. And I managed to prosecute that and hold my convictions. And I'd say to anyone who wants to continue their convictions of being pro-net zero, there's a great place for that, and that's on the backbench where you get to express your views.
Yeah, look, I think that's an absolutely fair point. If you're not happy, go to the backbench. I mean, absolutely perfect. Look, let's talk about the sell. How are you going to sell this energy policy now? How do you, in particular, win over the inner city till seats and younger voters, Gen Z and millennials? How do you go about this?
Look, I don't think this is something that we should shy away from at all. And I want to point out, we haven't tried it before. We haven't actually prosecuted this case before. I think we can do it very easily just by simply talking to the economics, which is Labor's soft point. I mean, we've got a government that's been telling us for ages that the more renewable energy will lower our energy bills, and it hasn't been. And the proof is in front of every single Australian every time they get their electricity bill. We know that they're wrong on this issue. We simply need to prosecute it. And the best part is other people have been trying to prosecute this with us. We saw that report from Princeton, University of Queensland, University of Melbourne that showed the figure was around $9 to $7 trillion to get to our targets. You break that down on a monthly basis, it's $20 billion a month. You know how you sell that in teal seats? That's hospitals, that's schools, that's road upgrades, that's police stations, all the things that we need and we should be building to make Australia great. The things, quite frankly, that we've been leaving behind and should now become our priorities.
Look, I agree to you. I agree. I think it's about going into those till seats and explaining that decision and pushing it forward over the next few years between now and an election. Is Susan Lee the leader who can defend the attacks from the left, turn this around and get it back on track?
Well, look, I very much hope she is, and she has my support. But I think the bigger thing is that we need a full team and our best team on the court prosecuting this case. This is something that's going to take everyone in every seat going forward and arguing that there is an economic consideration with net zero that we must take into consideration and pushing that case. That's going to be every single MP and eventually every single candidate that we put into the field being willing to full-heartedly say, look, there is a better way. There is a better way. And it's by considering the cost to Australians, to making sure that we're still competitive, to making sure that we can still have industry stay in Australia. These are things we need to prosecute. I believe we can.
So what's the vision we're just playing on our screen now of a bunch of Conservatives? You were at the back, you were standing there, could see you very clearly there, Garth. What was with that vision then? What message were you trying to send? Was there a message to Susan Lee?
I think everyone's tried to take something more out of it than what it was. It was just a group of like-minded people getting together beforehand and enjoying the opportunity to go and express their views on net zero, which is something that was denied us back in 2021 when the previous Morrison government brought forward our position on net zero without a debate. So I think there's just a lot of people who were very excited about finally being able to make a contribution in the party room on a debate on net zero, and we enjoyed each other's company. That's about it.
Right. So this was not an image for Susan Lee of look out, the Conservatives are in.
Goodness me, no. This was a group of like-minded people, birds of a feather flocking together.
Oh, I like that analogy. And so you back Susan Lee in now? She's a leader that's going to take the party to the election?
Well, look, she has my support and we have to get on with this job.
OK. Well, I want to play you some audio of Chris Bowen today. He was asked, should Australians believe Labor to bring down power prices? Have a listen.
I think Australians had their say in May. You know, Mr Dutton, I wish him well, said he wanted a referendum on climate and energy. We were okay with that. That happened in May. Australian people told us to get on with the job. That's what we're doing. I don't think the coalition got the memo from the Australian people in May, though.
Your response to that one, Garth?
Look, this probably answers your earlier question, how are we going to win over those seats? Just roll out more Chris Bowen. You want to talk about that election in May? Labor put that bloke into hiding. They hid him away. They didn't want him out there sprouting his nonsense for people because Labor know this is their weak point. Labor know that what he says doesn't resonate with the experience of Australians out there. The higher energy prices that we're all seeing, Chris Bowen can't deny that. It's real, it's happening. His vision of Australia, of more and more renewable energy, is not one that Australians are now feeling very comfortable with. So look, good luck, Chris. I think he's going to be very nervous as we start to prosecute this case.
Well, it's put it back on the agenda, hasn't it? It's front and centre again, and Labor are going to have to front up to the fact that our energy bills have gone into the other direction. So Chris Bowen can say whatever he likes, but it's not doing him any favours. Garth Hamilton, nice to see you as always. Thanks so much for joining me on the show this evening.